Hi guys, Jake here, the scooter. This is just a very quick demonstration video on how to safely operate the SX-250 e-bike, or in this case, SX-250D delivery bike. Both work exactly the same way. Obviously this is a delivery model that has this sliding tray attachment for your delivery box, if that's the model that you do have. Here are the keys. Now you do have operations on the keys, which I'll cover in a moment, but the same key, if you're using it manually, works for any slot. So we'll start around the front. This is your glove box. Just turn the key to the right and you'll get in there. When the bike is delivered, this is where we will keep the charger, but obviously you can keep some small items in there when the charger is not in there. It's just in case you don't know where that might be located. If we come round to the front, clearly we've got a normal ignition that you would find on any car. The key is slightly oversized, so it does take a little bit to get in here above there. However, turn it to the right and the bike will come on, of course. Now, a little bit about the controls. You do have your green button here on the left. Now make sure that when you're starting to actually ride the bike, that you always release the green button. This button, when you hold it down, as you can see, will get the bike up to around 7-8 kilometers an hour, around 5 miles per hour, and just give you a brisk walking pace, give you that momentum before you're ready to go. Get used to the bike, get used to the speed, get in a straight line, and then you will start to pedal. Now, when you start to pedal, again, you don't need to use this, but if you do use it, before you start pedaling, make sure that you're releasing that green button. If your thumb is down on that green button, it will not allow you to go any quicker than it already is going, around 6-7 kilometers an hour, as I mentioned. Once that's released, you then start to pedal. Almost instantly, you will feel the motor kick in, and you'll get up very quickly up to your 20-25 kilometers top speed. 25 kilometers an hour is around 15.5 miles per hour, and that is the UK legal limit for e-bikes. So it does need to be pedaled to keep it going. That will keep the motor engaged. Okay. Now on here, you've got your indicators left and right, so you can clearly see them on the front and the back. To disengage that, just simply press the white button in the middle. You've also got your lights here for the front, off and on here. Off and on here, and this is depending if you want high beam or normal, okay, for obviously at night. Now you've got also either side, got a horn either side, okay. So moving on round the back of the bike, because clearly we need to get into the battery for charging, etc. Simply get the same way, turn it to the right, and there's the battery. Now make sure that when you're taking the battery out to charge it, that the kill switch is off. Move it to off, then you can remove the plug, lift the handle up, and the battery will slide out. Okay, and putting it back in, do make sure that you remember to pull that back on once it's all plugged in, as you'll have no power. Okay, now also a great way to charge it, and the bike will arguably prefer this, is there is a entry point there for the charger, so you can charge it externally. It just works like a kettle lead, so I'll get the charger out. So normal 3-point plug into any UK plug, and then that will just slot in there, and the same if you get the battery out. Another quick point, you can fold the pedals in, just press them in like that. If you're going through a tight gap, or you're parking it somewhere, leaving it somewhere, moving it into the house or inside a building, you can do that. Now another really good point to mention is that there are two stands, a double stand, a normal stand, and there is a side stand. Now, as you can see, the side stand is not the most secure. We wouldn't want a gust of wind taking that over or anything like that. On top of that, you'll be able to see that the green button doesn't work unless that's all. So that's on a sensor. So it's best to just avoid that. It's not as stable, it's on a sensor. You don't want anything happening to the sensor because that will affect the function of the bike. Best to just keep away from it altogether and use that, which is far more secure, like a normal moped on what your point guides. Do ignore these. That's my recommendation. They are obviously pillion pegs. The bike does, the maximum weight limit is around 120 kilos. Obviously with two of me, that's definitely over that weight limit. And two of most adults, that's going to be over the weight limit. The bike will do it. It's strong, it's robust, and it will manage it. However, you're not going to get the best experience out of it. You're not going to get the same speed, and you're not going to get the same battery life on there. They're used basically for small children if you want to carry them around on it. That's why they're there. And to be honest, they look pretty cool with the chrome, but probably best to avoid that. On the front here, obviously clearly you've got your brakes. Once you press the brakes, that will disengage the motor effectively. To re-engage the motor, you then just either have to press the green button or then start pedaling again. You've got your front brake on the right and your rear brake on the left here. Okay, now you've also got your little phone holder here. That can be complicated for some people to, including me when I first seen it, to operate. But there's just a little clip there, just click that, opens it up, slot your phone in, wrap it around there, and then tighten to where you need it to be, okay? Okay, so just to talk very briefly about the front screen. It's very, very simple. This is the whole idea about a scooter. This is effectively used to be a workhorse. It's not used to be complicated or a hybrid or anything like that. Once the battery, it's a lithium-ion battery, so you're going to have around 5 bars here. Once the battery gets down to this level, around 2 to 1 bars, you want to make sure that you're charging it straight away. Don't leave it to go completely dead. It works very similar to your iPhone or your smartphone, because it's a lithium-ion battery at the end of the day. So if you let it go completely dead, it takes a little while to come back on. Same thing with this. If you let it go completely dead and leave it a day or two before you start charging it, it's going to be an overnight job. It's going to be 6, 7, 8 hours, overnight. If you leave in around 20%, it'll only take around an hour and a half to top it up. Another big point on that is, and this is why it works really well for the restaurant industry, which we are the market leaders. Reason being is that it doesn't mind, it's not detrimental to charge it intermittently. In fact, it really likes it. So if you do have 5, 10, 15 minutes of downtime and you have access to the charger, I would definitely recommend topping it up, keeping that above that 20% threshold. Okay, clearly you've got your mirrors. They just unscrew if you need them off, but obviously they're also holding up the tech bar. And just to talk quickly about the key, obviously we have covered the keyless go. Again, if you to turn that on, to turn it off, you want to press the unlock button. The unlock button means that it's not got the alarm is not engaged. Okay, if you want to engage the alarm, you press the lock button. Okay, now we don't want a gust of wind as well setting this off, so it's not the easiest. But if I did try and wheel it out, you'll see that it clearly goes off and very loudly. So to turn that off, just press unlock, and you're back to normal. Okay. We want to use the keyless go. Use the lightning bolt there. A few more security points which I didn't mention before. We've got an alarm, of course, and an immobilizer as well. First of all, if you put the key into the ignition as normal, but you turn the bike handlebars to the left, you'll notice that you'll be able to push the key in further and then turn it further round to the left, and then remove the key, and that will lock the steering in place, basically so people can't just wheel the bike off. So that's just one of the security features. To disengage that, clearly just put the key in, push it down, turn it to the right, and we're back where we were. Okay, now there is also an alarm, and all of this works off the key. So there is keyless go as well if that's your preference. So I'll just talk briefly about that. So we've got lock, unlock, we've got electric bolt, and then we've got just the sound. You could ignore the bottom one. Basically, to use the keyless go, we press the lightning bolt. You'll hear the alarm go off. It is pretty loud, as it is an alarm, but that's to engage the keyless go. You'll then be able to ride the bike as normal with your keys in the pocket. Now, if anybody does steal the bike or anything like that while that's going on and you want to give chase, make sure that you don't have the keys with you. Basically, the bike will disengage and the power will turn completely off if the keyless go mode is on and the bike is 50 meters from the keys. Okay, so that's a good security. Okay, so it's also important to mention, guys, that when a lot of people get on these bikes, they're not like traditional bicycles, not like how we were taught when we were kids. It makes no difference how fast you pedal. You could be pedaling at a snail's pace, but you will still be at your top speed of 15.5 miles an hour unless you're applying the brakes. Again, it takes all of the work out for you. These are designed for the restaurant industry, for the last mile delivery, and for people that just can't be bothered like me. Again, if you pedal, when you're pedaling, don't be alarmed that there is no resistance. That is the whole point. It's like pedaling a bike that's where the chain has fell off. That's how little the resistance is. But as long as the pedals are moving, that will engage the motor, which will do 100% of the work for you. Okay, so as explained, guys, to get going, if you'd like, you don't have to. You can completely ignore the green button, but to save your knees pushing off, you can get going with that green button. Again, you'll go around nice and easy like this. Once I'm ready to get going properly,